In this video, I'm going to show you how you can do a blind hem on your overlocker. And that's where you get these really tiny little stitches showing on the right side of the fabric, and on the wrong side, I've stitched the hem so that the fabric has just been caught with the needle thread, giving you this finish like this on the right side. This method works really well on slightly heavier fabrics where you can lose the stitching, rather than thinner fabrics where the stitching might be more obvious. I've used a 4-thread overlock stitch to create this finish, but you could get the same effect with a 3-thread stitch, and you can also use a 3-thread stitch using only one needle to achieve an even more decorative finish on the right side of the fabric. So I'll show you how to do this method as well. First, I'm going to show you how to set up the machine. You can do this technique with both 3 and 4 thread overlocking, but I'm going to use 4 thread just because, for one, I don't need to take out one of the needles, and for two, it'll just demonstrate a bit more easily the position of the fabric and the needles when you're sewing. First of all, I'm going to change the tensions. So for the needles, I'm going to loosen them both a little bit. I'm going to put them on 2, and hopefully that will be enough just to make sure that I can pull the thread flat once I've finished the stitch. Upper looper tension, I'm going to set to 5. You might want to go higher than that. And the lower looper tension, I'm going to put it on to 2. Settings on the side, my stitch length, I'm going to turn it up to 4 so it's long, and then the differential feed will depend on the type of fabric that you're using. So I'm going to be doing this with a sweatshirt fleece, so it's a stretch fabric, so I just turn it up to about 1.25, 1.3. And then I'll prepare my fabric. So I've turned up a 4cm hem on my fabric, and then I'm going to fold the fabric back on itself. So I'm folding right sides together, and I want to leave a little bit of a lip here. So that's about 6mm to 8mm of a lip here. So that's a 1/4 inch to about 3/8 of an inch. So I'll just do that again. So turn up your hem. So this is 4 centimetres. You want to have at least 3 centimetres for it to sit flat once it's done. So I've gone for 4. So now for the fabric right sides together, but as you do that, just bring a little bit of this hem so it sticks out. So I've gone right sides together, and my 4 centimetres is here, and this depth here is a little bit shallower than that. I'm leaving 6 to 8mm here sticking out all the way along. That's 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. And then you can pin this in position to hold it. I'm going to make sure my pins are quite far away so that they can run to the left of the presser foot as I do the hem. And now I'm ready to stitch. You can get a blind hemming foot for your machine, but you can do it without. So I'm going to show you how to do it without in this video, and I'll show you a bit more about presser feet in a later video. Bring your fabric to the machine so that the excess lip here is to the right of the machine and the folded up bit is here to the left. Turn on the machine. You'll see on the top of my presser foot I've got these 2 little lumps, and that indicates where the left and the right needle are going in, and I want the left needle to just catch the folded edge here, and I want the right needle to go just through the single layer. So you need to position your fabric so that that will be correct. And it's a bit tricky because there's a very, very small gap between the 2 needles, but once you've got that in position, you can then just push the front of the presser foot up, push the fabric in towards the blade, and then you can begin to sew. So you'll see that my left needle here, the left needle's catching the fold and the right needle is just going into the single layer of fabric here. My tension's a little bit off. I'm not going to worry about that too much. So take out your pins. You can see on the right side that I get these really small little stitches here. And in some places they're barely visible. And then on the inside, you'll see that the hem is caught, and that will hold tight. If I'd have used a thread colour that matched, then you wouldn't see the stitching at all. However, if you quite like the look of those stitches, you can make them longer by just sewing further into the fold, and this is much easier if you use a 3-thread stitch. So I'll show you how to do the 3-thread stitch next. First, start by taking out one of the needles. I'm going to take out the right hand needle and leave the left needle in. So just pull that needle out, and then I'm just going to pull the thread out of the way. Prepare your fabric as before, turning up a 3 or 4 centimetre hem, and then fold that back, leaving a lip like before. And again, you can pin that in place. So press it really carefully and evenly, and then pin that in place all the way along. Push the fabric up to the machine, and you can actually position the fabric so that the needle's going to go quite far in to the folded edge of the fabric. So long as the blade isn't going to be cutting through this folded edge here, you can really position the fabric right the way over until the blade is almost up to the edge here. I'm going to position my fabric so that the fold is just slightly to the right of the right needle position marker here on my presser foot. And then when I turn it to the right side and I pull those threads flat, you see I get this really accentuated long stitch line, and you can press that flat. You can have that as a decorative stitch on the right side of your garment. You can obviously use a thread colour that matches, or like I've done, something that's quite a high contrast, so it's really obvious. If you want to achieve this effect, it's really important that you lower the tension on the left needle, else you can't pull this fabric flat. So the loose tension allows that stitch to come through to the right side and for the fabric to sit flat.